In 2016, Leicester City did the impossible. 5,000 to 1 odds, a Premier League title that shocked the world. But since then, the magic's faded. The fairy tale has been forgotten. Now it's time to write a new chapter. Welcome to my 10-year mission to rebuild Leicester, brick by brick, tactic by tactic. We're not just chasing Premier League glory again, we're hunting down Europe, FA Cups, League Cups, famous nights under the Champions League lights, and legends will rise. Destinies will fall and Leicester will roar again. So buckle up, get ready, get the popcorn, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let's rebuild Leicester over a decade. So then, this is going to be Leicester inside of Football Manager. Now, we have done a rebuild with them before, but this is a rebuild like no other. This is a guaranteed 10-year rebuild. Whatever happens does happen, and we're going to see exactly who comes in, who leaves, can we win the Premier League, do we not win the Premier League, what is going to happen. Now, of course, they have gone down in real life, if I'm not mistaken. We are not going to be in the Championship, we still are going to be in the Premier League, and I'm going to see if I could have avoided their relegation. That is what we're going to try and do. Now, reputation-wise, we are talking 3-star, not half bad. 5-star training facilities, 5-star youth facilities, and 2.5-star youth recruitment. But I will be going through every single sort of couple of seasons to make sure we have not got some generational talent coming through the under-21s, because I have seen that before at this club. The owners are rich, they also love the club, so two real big bonuses right there. In terms of their history, oh boy, anyone remember the Premier Division title? You know, one of the most famous ones ever, a fantastic year for football, an FA Cup win, 8 Sky Bet Championships, 3 Carabao Cups, 2 Community Shields, and 1 Sky Bet League One. But at the moment, the arrow could not be any further down. We're on a rapid decline, obviously now in the Championship, and we're going to try and turn that around. Now, for those of you wonderful people that are playing back home, you would have about £21 million to spend. Of course, I don't make transfers in Season 1. Debts and loans, you've got 77 million in net debt and 46 million in transfer debt, and you can see it all broken down here. I would say nicely, but we don't really want to watch that, so we'll get off that screen quite quickly. But in terms of the overall goals, of course, the big goal is to be as competitive in the Premier League as physically possible in the first season. Anything above relegation is going to be a massive bonus. Now, this is a video game. People do forget that sometimes. Therefore, I think it's going to be a bit easier than just to be safe. I think we can get into the top 10 in our first season, maybe top 12, because the team, the tactic, everything we've got is going to be a big advantage. Now, the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, I don't care about for the first couple of seasons. Of course, this isn't a challenge rebuild, so the video won't end when we win a certain trophy. It's a decade regardless, so we're going to plan this quite down to the T, really strategic and get the job done. Now, I keep listening to my comments, as I always do. We are playing a 4-2-3-1, but it is the opposite of a meta tactic. We are playing a fluid counter style, balance mentality, where we are going to hit early crosses and almost be quite a direct team. In transition, that is quite meta, I will be honest. This definitely isn't. So we are playing a very unique shape. Now, this might lower the trophies we win over 10 years, but there's demand to not play with my meta tactics. So we are going to try and compromise and make everyone happy, which is almost impossible, but hopefully I make some progress. That's all I can ask for. But this team on paper, oh, it's beautiful. There are some really good players in this team, and looking at the team on paper now, I'm thinking, how have you gone down? But obviously, this is very different to real life. The one player that I love to absolute pieces is Bonanate. Now, he's a player who is so good at the age of 18, but I just don't think we're going to be able to afford him at the end of the loan spell, because if he has a bad season, you don't want him. If he has a good season, you want him, and he's going to cost me minimum 70 million, which I don't think Leicester are going to have if we finish in 10th place. But the kid is incredible. He is such a well-rounded player at the age of 18, and it's scary he is only 18. He is that good, in my humble opinion. The wingers I love. I had the displeasure of watching them play. It was actually Ipswich Town, my local team, and these two are incredible together. Now, over the next decade, I can't imagine we're going to end the rebuild with Fatawu and Mavidi, obviously left and right wing. But for the first few years, they can cause some havoc. On the left, we've got pace, we've got dribbling, we've got finishing, we've got composure. He's a Sky Bet Championship player, but honestly, he will be fine in the Premier League. And for Tawu, who I think is the better one of the two, is an absolute cheat code. He is so good. He is quick, he's got great finishing, decent composure, good dribbling, he can cross, which is handy for this tactic. And he is genuinely going to be a big part of this rebuild. Now, as you look down the team, likes of Ndidi maybe has fallen off a little bit over the recent years. Oliver Skip, a player who has got a lot of potential, but I don't put him in the same category as a lot of the youngsters in the Premier League, I will be honest. The wing-backs are quite strong, although obviously Pierre is getting older. He is 29. Fayez, some people describe him as the worst centre-back in the Premier League. I think that's quite harsh, but we'll see how he does. And next to him, you've got Vestergaard, who actually I quite like, but he is 30 years of age. A decent goalkeeper, and obviously, you go to the bench, big Mr. Red Bull himself, Jamie Vardy, 36 years of age, so probably got a season tops left in the tank. Now, this is going to be an interesting rebuild, because over the years, you are going to see players almost just disappear. Now, I'm going to make this very clear. When we are doing transfers on the rebuilds, the players that I don't want, I all have on the transfer list. I always offer them out to clubs, and when I simulate, I go up to here and I simply tick this box and only sell transfer listed players. Obviously, I also use that one as well. So these players do get a chance to be sold. If they go on the free, they go on the free. At least we're going to clean up the wages. But that being said, I don't want to think about Jamie Vardy leaving because he's been such a key player to this team, but that time is coming. That time is coming. Of course, on the bench, we've also got Edouard, who is a decent striker to have on loan. Whether he becomes permanent, the time's going to tell that, isn't it? Luke Thomas, a great left-back with tons of potential. So hot or cold in Football Manager, though. Either really good or completely bang average. But looking at the team on paper, I mean, centre-backs, we're somewhat covered. We've got, you know, also a Coley down here. Let's not forget about him. He can become a really talented individual. Right-back, we've got Pierre, we've got Justin. You know, we've got decent options. Left back, we've got a few options. Midfield, Harry Winks, another player. Samar, I think is how you say that, also coming in. I mean, it's an okay team. Up front, Daka does scare me because he is either really good or really bad. And there's a few players like that in this team. So I think what the aim is, what we're going to do is go into season one. Obviously, the one guaranteed thing we want is to stay up. But if you want my honest opinion, they're predicting a finish of 18th. I think we can get in the top 10 because genuinely there's a lot of talent on this team. Well, you ask and you will receive. We are going to finish in 9th place in the Premier League, pretty much exactly where I thought we were going to finish, inside the top 10. And I tell you what, yes, we are, you know, I say that. We're only literally 3 points off the top 7, so it was a really strong season with 14 wins, well actually 16 wins, I was reading Brentford then, 16 wins, 8 draws and 14 losses, a few thumpings in there, a 6-1 loss away to Brentford, 5-2 against Villa, a couple of thumpings in there, and I think a 4-1 against Liverpool, but realistically, we have done very well. Now, the one thing is, we do not have a single player in any of the stat lines, which probably should be expected. I mean, it's our first season. We're still figuring out exactly who is Premier League quality and maybe who isn't Premier League quality. So it is going to take a fair bit of time to really come to an understanding of that. Now, the other competitions, we are talking a quarter-final appearance in the FA Cup, where we are going to fall in extra time to Tottenham Hotspur, which is okay for a first season, and a very early exit in the Carabao Cup against Brighton on penalties. So both of the cups, incredibly close ties, which unfortunately we lose both of them. This is a real good sign in the Premier League though, and looking at the players that performed, let's go and have a little browse, shall we? So, Edouard up front is going to be the top goal scorer, I believe, in the entire team. Now, in terms of money, I imagine they are going to want 20 to 30 million pounds for Edouard. Mavidi, 11 and 7, incredible. Buonanotte actually had quite a quiet season, I will be honest, compared to what I've seen him do. Now, it's not enough for me not to get him because he's done enough, but I can guarantee it's about to be sickening. Yeah, 61 to 92 million. Unless we've got a mad budget, that's not going to happen. Fatawu had a great season, 8 and 8. Left back done a great job. 1 and 7. Vestergaard, 7 goals from my new set pieces. Make sure you go and get them. That is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, a really, really, really strong display here from a lot of players. Daka also had a great time with 8 goals. Piera, 3 and 4. I mean, a really, really strong display. And I do want to say, by the way, if you do want to get all of these perks and this rebuild file, tactics, one-on-one tactical help, giveaways, we've got so many perks for the Patreon members. Make sure you are checking it out in the link below, because I imagine this team's going to become quite crazy, because I'm looking at the team right now on paper, and there's actually quite a fair few people that I already want to replace. Not because they've disappointed me, but just when you get into a team like Leicester, you see the potential, and you also see the areas that might need to be improved quite quickly. So if we actually look at this, we are quite, the 9th best, the 8th worst at conceding. So money needs to be spent, arguably in both areas, but if I can, I will strengthen the back line. To do that, we actually have been given an incredibly generous amount of money, 56.7 million, which is a very generous first transfer window allowance, and we're going to go into season 2, and if we can, bring in some defenders. But at this stage, the whole team is going to need improvement. So let's go into season 2 and see. As I always do say, we go through and check out all of the short upcoming contract expiries. I won't be able to afford him, and I'm not sure if I want to spend that amount on Edouard, so I doubt these two are going to stay. And you look at the likes of, I feel like I need to give this guy a contract as backup. Danny Ward, I feel like he can go. We don't need 2 backup goalkeepers. Jamie Vardy, I don't feel like I'm going to pay him another contract. So we are going to see some people go as well. So lock in. Changes are coming. Right then, so sign-in 1 is going to be Fabio Silva. I was on a man mission to try and find a replacement for our goals, which obviously majority did come from Edouard. Now, we have kept Daka, so he is going to be a backup striker, but Fabio Silva has come in for £32 million. He has scored 17 goals and bagged 6 assists, so his strongest season in football yet. This is a player that can either go really well or go really bad, and luckily for us, he has jumped in and enjoyed a great bit of football. He has got a lot going for him, okay? The finishing's great, the dribbling's great, great first touch, good composure, good work rate, good technique, a bit of pace about him. He's a very technical-minded player, but of course this wasn't the only position we had to replace. We needed another attacking midfield player, and we turned to Crystal Palace and picked up Matthias Franke for £30 million. Now, this guy in the future might not be our long-term AM. He might not be, but for now, he's a really good player. 3 goals, 5 assists, similar to Buonanotte, to be honest, and a lot more obtainable, a lot more cheaper, and really wanted to join. So with these two sort of pairing up, we have only managed to really strengthen the attacking line. There wasn't really many quality defenders that were a clear improvement, that weren't like 36, for example, and we are trying to plan for the future. We've got a decade to play with here, so these two players also meet that sort of requirement. 21 years of age from Franke, and Silva's 22, so 2 young players that at the moment are clear first team favourites, but over the upcoming years, if they do get sort of, put to the bench, they're still going to have a big part in this team. So 2 sensible signings for £59 million, and I think that has given us a nice sort of prospect going forwards. It clearly had an impact, as we are now at Wembley playing the FA Cup final against City, and we're going 1-0 up with a great header from Vestergaard and a great ball in as well from Fatawu. Lewis is going to play it into Bernardo Silva here. Great pressing from the left back, who is going to find Fatawu all the way through into Fabio Silva, and that is going to be a 2-0 advantage inside of 34 minutes. A great start, and who would have thought that we would be leading the mighty Blues? As we're going to have another highlight here. Winks back in to Christiansen, a ball in into Mavidi, little touch inside, and he goes alone, and that is going to be a 3-0 lead in 46 minutes. Another set piece comes in, a great ball, and it is going to be big Vestergaard. They cannot deal with him. A 4-0 lead, and it gets sweeter. We are going to win the FA Cup in our first ever final appearance in this rebuild with a great ball in, a great touch. Have some of that. It's also not it's not a bad display in the Carabao Cup. I mean, we do get to the quarterfinals where sadly it is going to be another exit on penalties, but we won the FA Cup. And we finished in the top 6 in the Premier League. So we have got European football, Europa League to be exact, 21 wins, 5 draws, and also 12, well 12, it is 12 losses. That seems like quite a fair bit to be up here, but we did win more games than 5th place, so more than fair enough. Now, the big difference here is we have 2 players in the stats, and they're in probably the most important parts to have good players in. Goal scorer and rank, joint second, you've got Isaac, Evanilson, and our player Fabio Silva. Our goalkeeper is going to be the top keeper in the Premier League. That is a statement being made, so we're incredibly strong when it comes to having a good goalkeeper, a good goal scorer, and clearly that's not just helped in the Premier League, but big time in the FA Cup. Money-wise, we have got a total budget of £60 million, which again, incredibly generous. Debts and loans are still there, but they're going to be there for a while. That is a well-known fact. And as a team, we can really see the likes of Franca had a decent season, Mavidi had a great season, Silva did, Fatawu did, Harry Winks, 14 goal contributions. I mean, these are really important stats, guys, from players who a lot of people would happily offload. They're doing a great job at the moment. Obviously, I'm not saying that Harry Winks is going to be a long-term solution, but for now, we can definitely build in and around him. James Justin and Christensen, great performance from wing-back. I mean, incredible stuff. And we're not going to forget this guy, because he has got 18 goal contributions, and he is mainly brought in, or was brought in originally, to be a backup, I imagine, for a couple of sort of games, but he's come in and actually had such a big improvement from the first to the second season. That is a player we are going to keep an eye out on, because he is doing a great job, and I will give him credit. 5 goal contributions from Reed as well, an older player that probably is sort of coming towards the end. Speaking of players that do come towards the end, Vardy obviously no longer with us. He's not dead, he's just moved on from the club. And also Ayew is going to be leaving, hopefully very shortly, because he has no future here. Now, where we look to improve now, we have spent quite a fair bit of money on Franca, on Fabio Silva, and I now think that we need to put some of that money definitely into the back line. Now, I say that a lot in videos, and I get carried away by signing fresh attacking talent, and I'm going to do my best to restrict myself and stick to my guns and sign some defenders. Now, when you look at this team, where do you think we might need to sign first? Because for me, I am potentially going with a right back. I would look to maybe offload Justin or offload Piera and get a better one in, have one of them as backup. Left back, we've got quite good options, to be fair. Centre back, you could also argue maybe offload Sutar and also Cody and get someone else in. You could also have a good argument that we might need a better midfield. I just think at the moment they are doing a decent job, but the beauty of being so early into a rebuild, you've still got so much time. So let's get into the next transfer window after a very impressive season and see what we can do. Right, so we have been sensible. We have signed a centre-back, pretty much the only centre-back that was really standing out for me, and he stayed fit in the Premier League for pretty much all of the games. Didn't play too many games in the Cups, but dropped 2 assists and a 6.77 average rating. He's a very good centre-back in my opinion, quite quick, decent tackling, good positioning as well, and I just feel at the age of 24 he still fits within my plans of signing people of a younger age. Someone who is a big surprise is also Brahim Diaz. 36 million, he's a bit on the older side, he is 26, but he is brought in for a multitude of reasons. He's not brought in to replace Franca directly, because he can play on the right-hand side, but he is our first real big signing. This man has played for City, Madrid, AC Milan, back to Madrid, and now at Leicester. It's a big name to bring in, a big statement to give the players around him a bit of a shock. Leicester are serious. We're signing big players, big names, and big talents, and this guy covers all of that area really well. 14 assists in his first season, 4 goals, 7.22 on the average rating, and once again, it's the name, the experience, the presence is worth every single penny, and that is going to finalise a £55 million transfer window. We have strengthened 2 areas on the pitch, and I'm hoping we can at least keep where we are in the Prem, if not work our way up a little bit more. And oh boy, we have done that as we finish in third place. Third place in the Premier League with 20 wins, 10 draws and only 8 losses. 70 points in the Premier League, 1 point off finishing in second place and outplacing City, Tottenham, United, Brighton, Newcastle, Liverpool, Nottingham, you know, Aston Villa, some pretty big teams. We are doing a great job. Fabio Silva, top goal scorer. You know, our goalkeeper not as strong this season, it has to be said. Brahim Diaz though, the most assists. So we have now got the highest goal scorer and the top assister. We're bound to do a decent job, and that's exactly why we finished in the way that we did. In terms of team, how did the lads do? Because we need to see how the other cups done, but we can firstly see Fabio Silva's 2 goals off the 40 goal mark in this season. 15 and 8 from Avidi, 13 and 22 from Diaz, who is playing through the middle, who can also play on the right. Let's look at Franca. He is also contributing 5 goal contributions, so he is also getting game time. For Tawu, 13 and 15. Again, a strong performance, or pretty, I won't say strong, but more than good enough performance for both of the DMs. We go down to the bench. You've got 6 goals from Daka off the bench. Piero at right back, 2 goals, 4 assists. 2 and 3 from Franca, as I said. Reed, 3 and 4. That's not bad for a man who I imagine is getting actually quite a fair bit of game time, so that's fair enough. Okay, I was not expecting that. I mean, the squad's doing well. That is all I've got to say. Now, apart from the Premier League, which is a big improvement, we don't actually win anything else. Runners-up in the Community Shield, a 2-0 loss to Liverpool. Semi-finals, impressive, but we lose 8-3 on aggregate. We'll move on. Third round exit in the FA Cup, a 1-0 loss to City, and a real good display in the Europa League, but sadly we lose by 1 goal, where we would have faced Benfica in the final, which I think potentially we could have gone on to do well. In this competition though, we blitzed Tottenham 5-2. We also are going to blitz Dynamo Kiev 8-1, and when it comes to the league phase, we were well within the qualifying spot, so we are doing very well for our first season in European football. Money-wise, we have got a budget of 52 million, incredibly consistent, the Leicester board, with the money we've been getting. The downside at the moment is, when you look at the squad and you go by the age, for example, we've got a lot of older players that are all going to be transfer listed. In fact, I'll reel off the names now. Ayew, Vestergaard, Reed, Cody, Piera, they're the players that are going to be transfer listed literally seconds before we roll the next clip. And this is where the game can be annoying, because when you've got features in the game, such as you've seen it before, accept all transfer offers, they very rarely go through. And I hope it's something that does get better next year, because it would make doing these rebuilds a bit more sort of easier. I do try and sell players, get money back in. If I can't, I'm just a person that thinks, do you know what? They're not even valued at that much money apart from Vestergaard, really. I'm just happy to get the wage back, do you know what I mean? And we need the wage cleared up so we can pay for bigger and better players. So let's get into the next transfer window. And once again, there's a big argument for improvement all over the shop. If you go by the stats, you'd look to actually not really much difference, is there? 4th best at scoring, 5th best at defensive work. So all areas still need a bit of improvement. Right then, we couldn't sell him. But the only option we had for Connor Cody was for him to go on loan to Swansea, where he did play a ton of games, and I'm just hoping they buy him afterwards. It's the one signing of the window, as we do look to attract a very, very, very solid DM in Asta. He's going to come in from Wolfsburg for 48 million. He plays 36 games, drops basically a 7 rating, 6 assists and a goal. Very good for his first season in England, let alone in the Premier League. He is just a nicely well-rounded player that is under 25, which is what I'm trying to get now for this sort of future rebuild generation. And I just think he's going to be a big upgrade to what we've got at the moment. Now, whether that comes out and, it does help us a lot, is going to be up for debate. It's the first window where we have actually only signed 1 player. So it's a big change from signing a couple, if not 3. But I thought the team's doing very well at the moment. Let's not completely change everything. I tell you what, it's a shame, because the FA Cup could have been coming back, and it nearly did, but sadly Arsenal a little bit too strong on the day. Carabao Cup isn't going to be anywhere near coming back, because we go out in the 4th round against Arsenal 2-0. That's twice now they've dumped us out of English competitions. Our first ask in the Champions League, we have 100% win rates over teams in Arsenal, Bayern, Lille. We've got some easier games in there, I will be honest, but regardless, that is a flawless record, outplacing some ridiculous teams. And Fabio Silva is genuinely one of the Champions League top goal scorers. He is an absolute freak show. Such a good player. Round of 16, we are going to go and beat Borussia Dortmund, okay, 5-1. An easier game compared to some of the teams around, but still a tough game. Quarterfinals, Real Madrid is not an easy game. A 5-1 win over 2 legs. Into the semi-final, 2-1 over Bayern, and we now play PSG. We're beating Madrid, we're beating Bayern, we're going to beat PSG. But sadly we don't, because they win it in extra time with a penalty. That is right, PSG, after getting through all them teams, beat us in extra time with a penalty from Victor Osimhen, and it's just hard luck. It's such a good display in the Champions League, it just wasn't meant to be this year, but serious thumbs up from me. That is a very strong performance. The Premier League, immaculate. We are still going to be in the Champions League as we get top 4 again, and a bit more closer to winning the title this time. Only 8 points behind, with 2 points from second place. A very, very strong season as Liverpool are going to lift the trophy. Fabio Silva, again, top goal scorer. This time, Fatawu and James Justin are going to be your top assisters in the Premier League, and that is what I love to see, because when we've got these stat lines going in our favour, we're going to be absolutely golden. One thing that I will say is the clean sheets. Our goalkeeper is now down in 7th place, which is a bit of a drop off from what we've seen in the previous years, so maybe if there's a better goalkeeper on the market, we do consider it. But as an overall season, we can't be angry. We've won the Premier League, chill out. We've got top 4 in the Premier League, finalists in the Champions League, finalists in the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup we faced against Arsenal, who, you know, we beat in the league, but clearly had the one up on us when it comes to the cups. Budget-wise, we have now got a serious bit of money, 96.7 million, or 6 million. Debts and loans have gone down an absolute ton, so we can afford to spend. And tactic-wise, we've got a team that are not only performing well, but also we can build around. Justin with 17 assists, 11 from Christiansen. The new man in midfield drops above a 7 rating. Remarkable. Fatawu 11 and 19, Diaz 16 and 10, Mavidi 19 and 10, Silva 49 and 4. He has broken all sorts of records. He is an absolute monster. Daka with 10 goals as well. Sommer coming in 7 and 4. We've got 4 and 1 from McAteer. We have got some genuinely real good bench players now. And as we look through the team, we understand what's going to go on. We'll look at the upcoming contract expiries. And as you can see, the likes of Vestergaard, Cody and Reed, they will all be going on the transfer list again. The same with Piera. Maybe the same now with Ndidi, because he's not really doing too much. And we can use that money. Not only, I mean, look at the wage you'll get back. We're going to free up 45k, 50k, 39k, 65, 86k. That's a lot of money to put back into players. You can probably fund either one ridiculous player's wages with that, or a couple of decent, you know, good players. So that's what we're going to aim for. It's a slow rebuild progress, or sort of progression. We're not exactly going winning Premier Leagues back to back to back to back, but this is slow and steady progress. And let's not forget, people, okay, the reputation's on the up. We have won trophies, you know, we're not doing too bad. So at the moment, we've got to keep our heads down, stay locked in, and this is our first big budget, so we need to spend wisely. Right then, so signing one is going to be Giorgio Satani. I'm awful with names. Sadani? I believe that's how you say that. Coming in from United for 32 million. 37 appearances, 3 goals, 2 assists, and drops a 7 average rating. This guy was on the same list as Diamande and Inacio. Those 2 players didn't want to join. This player did, so we've gone with him. I've never signed him before, but he looks very, very good. He's got the pace, he's got the acceleration, anticipation, jumping, headings at 17. I'm expecting a fair few goals from him in his Leicester career, and that is signing 1. Signing 2 is a man that I hope is going to be a bagsman. Junior Krupi is going to come in from Bournemouth for £52 million. Now, he was scouted after having quite a remarkable season at Bournemouth last year in the Premier League, where he has pretty much matched the exact same stats but in our team. So there is still definitely room to grow for this individual. He is 21 years of age, really good for the future of this club. Great dribbling, great composure, great finishing, great first touch, great off the ball, great technique, great pace, great agility, great everything. The guy is a really, really strong player. Yes, he's on 230k a week. Yes, he's on a lot of money, but you get multiple things. Number one, young player potential. Number two, already very well developed. Number three, can play shadow striker, AM, attack midfielder, whatever you want to say, and also striker. They are 4 big reasons to sign this player, and I am not messing about as we look to spend 84 million. So still under the budget, we're not going crazy, but they are 2 big statement signings. Make a statement and you get punished. We are going to finish in 6th place, and there's several things that I can point this to. One of the obvious ones for me is that apart from our goalkeeper, who now is in 4th place, we do not have a goal scorer in the top 4. We actually are down in joint 9th, and that is going to be Diaz and Mavidi, so not even one of our strikers are going to be in there. Assist wise, we are down in 5th place with Fatawu with 9 assists, so it's not horrific, but also it's not great. Then you've got to go down to Christiansen to find our next player. So that explains quite a fair bit in the Premier League, and simply not a good enough season, putting it bluntly. And we are now going to be in the Europa League, which tells me we obviously didn't win the Champions League, because we would have had Champions League football. So let's just go and see what happened. 3, 2, 1. It's a semi-final festival. So semi-finals against United in the FA Cup. It's okay. This is a bit annoying, so I think we can be beating West Ham, and it's on penalties. That always annoys me. And the Champions League, a big drop-off compared to last year. That is the only way to describe it. Liverpool beat us in the round of 16. It's a bit of a drop-off. Now, the league phase, again, we're never going to replicate 8 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses, but even that's taken a bit of a plummeting, as we do lose a couple of games there. Frankfurt, I think we should be beating, and all the wins are against teams that we should beat anyway, so a bit of a drop-off there, to be honest with you, and I don't think it's down to the signings that I made, because we didn't really compromise the entire team. I just think that maybe we've been overperforming the past few seasons, and we've got to buck our ideas up and get our head down and see what's happened here, because something's happened. I mean, we look at the likes of Krupi, it's not exactly horrific. I mean, he was definitely registered, he was in the Premier League, he scored goals, but we need more from him. 13 and 13 is okay, but there is still room to grow. 18 and 6 from Mavidi, who is actually dropping off in terms of current ability, but still putting up great stats. Diaz is doing great. For Tawu, again, a quiet season by his standards. Christiansen, very good season. Justin, an okay season. This centre-back actually done fine. So did the other centre-back we signed a couple of seasons ago, who is currently on a decline big time, which is quite worrying. Fabio Silva, 17 and 2, so the addition of, having a partner for Fabio Silva or competition, and to be honest, Krupi's not even guaranteed competition, because he can play here and Fabio Silva can play up front. Also, Fabio Silva can play on the left if needed. There's options in this team, so we've not compromised the team by signing these sorts of players. Going into the money, we have been given a budget of £67 million. The debts and loans, the transfer debt is clear, the net debt is still existent, so we're going to keep an eye on that one for sure. And in terms of players that are going to be leaving us coming up, you are now probably only looking at Piera, who, as you can see, is actually retiring, so we're only going to get the wage back on that one, not any of this 2.9 million, as he is going to be leaving us, which again, let's just give a little shout out to him, because he has been at the club now for quite a fair few years, and been some player. So respect to him. He can move on and enjoy his career, or I always say that, his retirement. But overall, this team this season, I don't want to say disappointed, but definitely an eye-opener. We're not quite the complete package. So what I've done is I've made the decision to pick up a new goalkeeper. Now, this wasn't just because I think our goalkeeper isn't going to win me a Premier League, but it was because Mamardashvili was available for 15 million. Now, it says a lot when he comes in and doesn't play a game, because he was registered, definitely on this time, and he didn't even get into the team. So we've got to keep that in mind, because he is older than our previous goalkeeper. He was brought in for first team football, and he hasn't worked his way into the team. He's a world-class goalkeeper. And that was our only signing until this man comes in. He was signed so late in the season, we couldn't register him. But we've spent big to get another world-class midfield player, and that could be the midfield done then. We've got a nice pairing in midfield. We are going to welcome in Umut, coming in from Hoffenheim, £70 million. The guy, 24, well within the age limit of what we're looking for to do at this team. A really, really cultured midfield player. Very, very strong, very versatile. And that is a very weird window. Obviously, we had these two before, but we have got two players that didn't do too much for us this season, but next season are really going to come into play. So, you know, we've got to keep that in mind. We're already strengthened for next season before we have another transfer window. It's weird, isn't it? Football. You don't have many impactful transfers, and we actually improved quite a lot. We're going to be back into the Champions League, and I think our best finish so far. A third place performance, and we are now seeing Fabio Silva joint second with the goals, which is beautiful. Mads Hermansen is going to be your top clean sheet candidate, which is really nice to see. And also Brahim Diaz is going to be joint third with the most assists in the league. So a very good season, 21 wins, 9 draws, 8 losses, a very, very good time. We're a few points off the title, 10 points off the title, as it is going to be Arsenal lifting that Premier League title in the year of 2029. But that's a big, big improvement compared to what we've seen, and we still look to chase that top spot in the Premier League. Another semi-final appearance, and this time another penalty exit against Fulham, another team that, without any disrespect to the club, because they are a big, big club, we should be beating them in my humble opinion. This I just can't even talk to you about, because it's another penalty exit, and this time against Southampton, who are a team who, by the way, are 20th in the Premier League. So no excuses right there. And to finalise it, we drop down to being in a Champions League final a few years ago to now getting knocked out by Celtic in the quarter-finals of the Europa League. Now, the league phase, we done the 8-0. We done it in the Champions League. We were bound to do it in the Europa League. But still, would have been nice to get to at least a final of another European competition. But small positives, we are in the Champions League once again. Our players are doing okay, although Krupi is worrying me. In fact, to the point where I doubt he shouldn't be. Fabio Silva's actually the better striker at the moment. 28-1, 9-8 from Mavidi. Diaz had a great season. Fatawa had a great season. You know, we have got some good players now, and the likes of Krupi, he does need to do better. He is doing very well. He's actually improved a little bit, but he needs to get more goals. I want to see more goals out of him, and that is just a harsh reality. The players that I'm really happy with at the moment, that have been good from the start, Fatawu, Mavidi, Diaz since he's been here, our wing-backs have always been good. The centre-backs are doing their job. Now we see what's going to happen, because going into the next season, we have got Mamardashvili, who's going to have a whole season to compete once again with Hermansen. We are also going to have this man, who will be in the team and 100% get game time. So that is one new addition. If Mamardashvili competes right, 2 new positions already improved. And with a budget of 57, more than that, 77 million, we can look to improve a couple more positions. The debts and loans are coming down a fair bit, so we are going to spend and we are going to improve. I want to push up and way beyond third place in the Premier League, and we will not rest until we have won it. Then signing number 1, and we have got one of my favourite right backs in the world. It's going to be Connor Bradley, 26 years of age, so a little bit above the 25-year mark, but he has developed really, really well at Liverpool, enjoying some decent seasons here, high up in the 6 ratings. He comes in for us, 8 assists, drops above a 7 average rating. The guy has got acceleration, agility, balance, pace, stamina, work rate, decent tackling. He can also cross a ball, which is vital for this tactic, and for the price tag of 45 million, I think we've hit the sweet spot here. We've got a great player that's easy to register, been in England for absolutely donkey's years, completely from day one. A very, very, very good signing in my opinion. And to partner him, we have gone and got Savinio, the man on the thumbnail, for 34.5 million. Didn't even play a game for City last year. 7 the year before, 5 the year before. He's sick of it. He wants out. I come in, 34 million, 23 goal contributions, 3 player of the matches. This guy has been signed a lot on this channel. He is genuinely such a joy to work with. 26, so again, just out of the max 25-year range, but It's Savinho, guys, come on. He is the closest to Neymar we are ever going to get. He is rapid, agility, dribbling, finishing composure's decent, off the ball works great, technique is immaculate. He's so handy to have because he can play up front, he can play on the left, on the right, he can even, if an emergency comes up, play through the middle. He is such a handy player to have. The one downside, his wage is nuts. But when I saw him on the market and he was in desperate need of a bailout in terms of career, I had to go and get him. And I look at the transfers we have just brought in. We have brought in a very solid right back and an incredible winger. We have also lost a few players here. You can see some players going out on the free. None of them are too big enough to really talk about. Of course, we all know Sammy Braybrook is just not really good enough to get into the team. So they're going to be players going out. These are two players coming in. But you look back to the previous window, of course, we haven't really seen a season out of this guy yet, who is no slouch, is a great player. And has Mamardashvili got into the first team? Time's going to tell. Well, the Premier League is okay. We are going to be back inside of 4th place, and we are going to be qualifying, of course, for Champions League football, I think, although it says Europa League, although we are in the top 4, so someone explain that to me. Junior Krupi is going to be your 3rd top goal scorer, so he has improved massively, which is really, really nice to see. Mamardashvili, the most clean sheets joint with Edison, so he has come in and laid a mark down in Season 2. Savinho, the top assister. Brahim Diaz, 4th. This is very strong. For the first time in a long time, we have got a player, in fact the first time maybe ever, we've got a player in goals, rating, player of the matches, clean sheets, and 2 in assists. That is genuinely nuts. A very, very strong season, and we can work on that and hopefully progress. The gap from 4th to 1st is closing. It's closing every year. In terms of other trophies, a round of 16 exit against Real Madrid. The Champions League, I think we've still got a lot of work on. That one final appearance, obviously that was back in whatever year that was, very early on actually, I think was just a bit of a fluke, to be honest with you. Another semi-final appearance in the FA Cup and another penalty loss. Carabao Cup penalties as well? No, a 4-0 loss, so I'd rather the penalty loss, to be honest. But I mean, this is positives, okay, because we're now looking at the likes of Krupi, better, 22 and 5, Savinho, 13 and 24, Diaz, 23 and 11, Fatawu slowly slowing down, 6 and 8, new man in midfield, 5 and 13, centre-back, 8 and 2, Connor Bradley, 8 assists, Christiansen, 1 and 4, Fabio Silva, 17 goals off the bench and rotation, proving that you can have 2 really good strikers together and they can work. 5 and 6 from Samer, pretty decent. 3 and 2 coming in from this man who isn't getting enough game time and I might actually offload. And also 5 assists from Chowdhury, who is a player that we've not really talked about too much, but he's just sort of there. He's there if we need him, doesn't always play that much, but he's an option at the end of the day. Now, going into the next season as we approach 2031, where are we weak? We are the 4th best at scoring, the 2nd best at conceding. So technically the attack you would point to in terms of where to spend the money, which we have got a total of £70 million. So a lot of money to go and spend. And I look at the front line and I think, we've actually got some pretty good attackers, but I suppose where you'd probably look, potentially, is a right midfielder. Obviously, Fatawu's really great, and you could argue you can do this. You could do that and be completely fine. But I imagine best 11, yeah, Savinho slaps on the left-hand side. Fatawu is a good player, but slowly on the decline. Or not even on the decline, he's just sort of hit his peak. This is what he is. And when you're going for Premier League titles and other trophies in and around that, you might need a little bit better. That's not even a disrespectful thing. Just got to be honest, and being honest with the lads always pays off. So we're going to go into the next season, aim to bring in a right wing. Maybe another centre-back, because we could sell Fayez. And apart from Fayez, we've got Sutar, who also can go. And we can keep a Coley, who has been incredibly quiet. Now, he's only been playing sort of, substitute games, but he's not been doing too bad in them. So I imagine we'll try and keep them. But let's get into the next transfer window. Had a mega window, and instalments have been used. I will be honest with you, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've turned to experience now, just to get a little bit more sort of guaranteed presence, is the words I'm looking for. And we are going to pick up Ferdi Kadioglu. Now, he's great because he can play left back and right back. He's also still got the pace and acceleration. He can cross, good tackling, good work rate. ticks every box that I would want to tick. He comes in for £15 million, so quite cheap in my opinion, has a great first season, and clearly, I imagine takes the left-back spot. So you've now got him and Connor Bradley as wing-backs. Pretty positive in my opinion. He comes in for 210 million. That is a joke, do not worry. He comes in on the free, and it's not bad actually. 15 assists and also 4 goals. Of course, my main aim was to find a sort of cert right winger. He is that, but also like Savinho can play on the left. So between him and Savinho, we've now got two of the most, well, really just well-adapted wingers. I mean, both of them are very, very, not similar. Savinho is probably a little bit more techie, a bit more sort of nippy and, you know, like that. This guy's more sort of just direct run, in my opinion. So they both offer something quite different. This player is a serious player who's valued at £89 million. He's also only on 93 grand a week, and I imagine that is going to go up if we have a good season. Where the installments come in is for this guy, Jonathan. 105 million, and it is another midfield player, but I am a sucker for a world-class regen. This guy looks nuts. He genuinely might be Ruud Huller in reincarnation. I mean, genuinely, look at the mental attributes, look at the technical, look at the physical. He's 22 years of age. He comes in for a lot of money. His first time playing for Leicester, not his first time in England, however. 1 goal, 1 assist. Drops close to a 7 average rating. But for those that are going to carry this save file on, you have got a DM in your team right now for the next decade. You can argue 12 years. This signing will pay for himself. Trust me, he will pay for himself. And that window completes bringing in an incredible left-back, right-back, an incredible winger who can play left and right wing, and an incredible DM who can also play central midfield. We're versatile, we're learning, we're improving. It's going to be embarrassing if I don't improve from last season now, isn't it? Well, technically it is an improvement. We're in second place and we are really hunting down and chasing down Arsenal for this league title. We are now 6 points behind them, and once again we can turn to big achievements. We have got Junior Krupi, the fourth top goal scorer, mouthful, Mamardashvili, the most clean sheets. We are also going to have Ez Abdi, Savinho and Rico Lewis. All in the assists. I mean, why have I just said Rico Lewis like he's mine? That is a complete brainwave right there. I do apologise. Really had a brainwave there. I don't know what planet I am on. I do apologise. Ez Abdi and Savinho are in the assists. Lucas Sol is a man that I want. I want Lucas Sol because genuinely, he is also a very good regen winger. But I can guarantee he is going to cost me around 98 million, and I don't think we're going to have the permission to go and get that once again. So, do you know what? I will try, because if we can have him in the team as well, we've got Savinho, Abdi, Sol. I mean, we're absolutely cooking on gas. But the question is, did we win any other trophies, or a trophy? I say any other. I mean, we've still got to win this yet. We are now, we've played quite a fair few seasons. The chase continues. Well, sadly, the Champions League, our journey's going to end quite early on. In the round of 16, Manchester United too strong on the day. In terms of the league phase as well, was a big drop-off. The first time in this entire video, we have not made it automatically through past the qualifying stages. We do get to this stage, of course, and we beat Lille 7-1, but it's not nice to see. The other competitions, embarrassing, ridiculous, pathetic. A 4th round exit by Cardiff. A 3rd round exit by Bournemouth, who, again, are they even in the Premier League now? Just about. I mean, just about. Brighton, Brentford and Leeds are going to go down. This season, apart from the Premier League, is not one to remember. Tactics-wise, who's doing well, who's not doing well? So, Connor Bradley, decent. Ferdy, incredible. Centre-backs doing great. This man in midfield doing decent. The new sort of wonder kid DM is an okay first season. Abdi 8 and 21, very good. Diaz 15 and 12. This man has been nothing but consistent. He's been such a good performer, so fair play to him, man. Savinho, 16 and 17, and Krupi, his top goals, I believe now, 27 and 6. Fabio Silva, still scoring a fair few goals. For Tawu, 8 goal contributions, 4 from Chowdhury, and we now look at this team, and there's names that I want to get rid of now that have been at the club lingering that I can't get rid of. We're going to start off with, actually, he's gone. Get in there, leave it on the free. Fayez is going to be leaving. I want to look to offload the likes of potentially Oliver Skip, Luke Thomas, Chowdhury, McAteer, Sutar, and also this man here in Bilal. So we've got quite a few players to offload. I will now go and transfer list all of them and hopefully come back with a brand new transfer window, which we do have a budget of 98 million to spend, and that's before we hopefully get some wage back and hopefully a bit of transfer money back from these players. Right then, so Harry Sutar is going to be leaving. He is going to be going to the Turkish League, which, to be fair, is actually not a bad move for him. He's a player that has been at Leicester for a very, very long time, spent his entire career in Scotland and England, so go and enjoy the sun. Well, Fayez, again, he didn't really do much for me at all, if we're being honest. He did okay, but not exactly remarkable. He's also going to go to Saudi. I say also, he goes to Saudi. Previous player went to Turkey. There is no comparison there at all. Both sunny countries, though, so a player that spent all this time in quite a dull and gloomy England and France and Belgium, he can now go and enjoy some sun as well and have a bit more of a relaxed lifestyle. I am like Real Madrid. When I want a man, I go and get him. I go and get my man. Lucas Sol is going to be a Leicester City player for 129 million, but it's justified. 16 goals, 10 assists, 7.31 average rating, and this guy is an absolute monster. He's quick, good agility, good off the ball, good work rate, good technique, good everything. He can also play on the right-hand side. Now, we don't really want him to do that because we have now got this wonderful partnership. You have now got the likes of Lucas Sol. You've got Ezabdi. You've got Savinho. You've got Fatawu. You've got Mavidi. We've got 5 very good wingers. Obviously, 3 of them are superior, but we have got so many good options, and we finally land Diamande as a backup centre-back, who actually ends up being a lot more than backup. He plays 30 games, 3 goals, decent average rating. He's the banker, innit? He's a banker signing. You know he's going to be good. He'll always perform, and he does that. It's no different. Not too much to talk about because you've signed him, I've signed him. Everyone that plays this year's game has signed him. We're going to win the Friendly Cup. Get in there. We are going to win the Friendly Cup, a big trophy, which I am absolutely buzzing about. So we've won the Premier League. No, joking, we've won the Premier League. That's where the excitement is. Now, it is done on goal difference, but let's just see how we got this done. 25 wins, 9 draws, 4 losses. A very low amount of losses indeed. Mamardashvili, the most clean sheets. We're going to have no player in the assist category, but we have got Lucas Sol and Krupi as the most player of the matches. Krupi number 1, Lucas Sol joint 3rd. Krupi is going to be your 3rd top goal scorer, and I tell you what, that took some doing. This is what, season 9? It's taken a long time. I mean, let's not forget, okay, we've been runners-up for 1 year. We've been 3rd place for 2 years. We have slowly worked our way up to this point, and we are finally here. We are Premier League winners, which is so nice to say again for Leicester. They're such a likeable team, and it's heartbreaking to see them go back down to the Championship. But that's football. It's harsh. It's reality. Apart from that, we don't win anything else apart from the Friendly Cup. Runners-up in the FA Cup, again, Man City in extra time. Community Shield, a 3-1 loss to Arsenal. A 3rd round exit against Liverpool on penalties. Have we won a penalty shootout yet? I don't think we have. And round of 16, we are going to lose to Dortmund 2-1. Do we make it out of the league phase? We do. So at least that's a positive, a small positive. But a big achievement done here. Premier League winners with Leicester, and we've still got 1 final year to go for something bigger. Maybe a Premier League and UCL, maybe a UCL by itself. We have got another year to try and make something happen. And we've got a budget of a very generous 120 million. That's what you get when you win Premier League titles. Now, in terms of the team, firstly, Lucas Sol, 40 goal contributions, Savinho 28 and 7, Krupi 29 and 13, Abdi 12 and 11, Fabio Silva. Where is Fabio Silva? Fabio Silva to check out. Where are you? He's down there. 8 goals. Not too bad. 4 and 7 coming in for this man who is really coming into his own right now. A leading Premier Division player. This team is so strong, and I think the only position we might look to spend money in potentially could be if another new gen comes on the market, which God knows how much he will cost me, but we've got over 100 million. So let's get in to the last transfer window see what we can do. Right then, we are going to finally wave goodbye to Ollie Skip. I kept him at the club because he was playing a few games as backup, but he gets a free move to Bournemouth. Again, we paid nothing for him, so he goes and gets, to carry on his career in the Championship. More his level, in my opinion, at this stage of the save. So nothing but love for him. Also going to wave goodbye to Big Samer. He is going to go to, I believe, that is the Saudi League. Once again, he played a ton of games for us last year. He's been very consistent, to be honest. Not exactly ridiculously good in terms of statistical returns, but he's been a key player, man, and he's been here ever since the start, so I hope he has a great time. Signing one, and it is going to be a right back, a new gen right back who does actually play 25 games. He comes in for 36 million, 2 goals, 2 assists, drops a 6.9 average rating as well, so it is actually quite a good return. And this kid, he offers quite a fair bit. I say kid, is 25. 15 acceleration, good pace, good stamina, good strength, good tackling, and now we have got him and Connor Bradley. We have got a very, very good pairing when it comes to right back. And this kid, I say kid, man, can also play centre back as well, so it's sort of a 2-in-1. You're also going to go over and pick up Yuki Shimoda, not Sonoda, Shimoda, and he is going to come in for a total of 78 million. 10 goals, 8 assists, a 7.12. He is going to be a new gen right wing. So we've got a new gen right wing, left wing, we've got Savinho, we've got Ez Abdi, we have got everything. But if you're noticing what I'm doing, I'm preparing for your future, because Savinho and Abdi are only getting older. These are a few years younger, so we've got you covered. This player is very, very good. Similar to Abdi, quite direct. He'll run at a man, he'll take a man on, he can cut in, he can dribble, he can finish, he's got great composure, great technique, and also he can put a ball in the box. So if you do decide to play with my exact tactic, don't load your own in, you can keep playing this way. This guy is a very, very, very serious addition to this team. But maybe not as serious as Noah Darvic. £59 million for a complete elite attacking midfield player. Of course, a player previously of Barcelona, Barcelona B, and Freiburg. Recently at Benfica, he enjoyed such a good season. Instantly went in. Benfica have turned a big profit. But when you can get him for 59 million, it's a very, very fair price tag, okay? 15 goals, 6 assists, a good amount of player of the matches, great average rating. And this guy, man, genuinely is one of the better players on the game in this current save. He has got everything you would want for an attacker midfield player. He has got great dribbling, great first touch, great free kicks. That is also like an added bonus almost. Great passing, great technique, great decisions, great flair, great off the ball work, great agility, great balance. If you're, typing in on the keyboard a perfect player, this would be who you're going to make. He's a great player for this team, and of course adds a really competitive environment for our previous players. So we welcome him in. I mean, 3 incredible players. We've got rid of 3 Deadwood players, and we've still found a way to come out on top. So I'm quietly confident going into the last season. Our first time in a Community Shield in terms of the highlights, which does mean one thing. I reckon we're going to win it. Ferdi Kadioglu is going to go down the left-hand side, a ball in, and the previous Man City man, Savinho, is going to make it 1-0 inside of a minute, which we love to see. We are now 6 minutes into the game. Connor Bradley down the right-hand side, no pressure being applied. There's multiple men in the box. Abdi is going to find Savinho again, and it is going to be a 2-0 lead inside of 6 minutes. Now, I will go and say we do not have a complete clean sheet record in this final. Lewis is going to find Scott, a great bit of running there, a great ball through into Foden, and that is going to be nothing. A consolation goal, pointless. We are finally going to win, the Community Shield. I mean, we have been runners-up on 2 occasions. That's never a nice feeling. Finally, another one ticked off. Champions League, we never really got to terms with, did we? We had one moment in the final, and that was pretty much our peak. We go out in the knockoff playoff rounds, which, again, shows we were down here, just outside of it. I mean, 5 draws. Yeah, Champions League isn't for us. Carabao Cup as well. Another penalty defeat. I think that's now 4 of the video in this competition alone. We are off to Wembley for another FA Cup final, and look who has the impact. Inside of the first half, just about, it is going to be none other than Sol, the previous Chelsea man. A great start, and what a time to be alive, as it's not just going to be 1 goal. This is going to be a 2-0 win. Another FA Cup, Sol down the... What is going on? The keeper's in no man's land. Simply lovely. For the Premier League, it could have been a nice treble to end the video, but sadly, we are 1 point off, meaning we have achieved 1 title in 10 years, which, if you say it like that, sounds quite demoralising, but we've been the almost team, haven't we? We could have won it 3 times, we were 1 place off that on 2 different years. We built up very steadily this video. I feel like we weren't too aggressive with the transfer strategy right until the end, so a bit more of a realistic build-up in my opinion, playing a non-meta tactic, and we still have brought home a lot of success. Lucas Sol, the 3rd top goal scorer. Noah Darvic is going to be in there, the 2nd most player of the matches, the most clean sheets, Marjashvili, Lucas Sol in there in the assist as well. And I mean, it's been a real meaningful rebuild. Now, I'm not a Leicester fan. I don't live in Leicester. I don't support Leicester, but I am a football fan. And therefore, you like Leicester. It was such a remarkable story what happened. Them winning the Premier League, the emotion, the passion. A very weird season in football. I mean, 5,000 to 1 odds is something special. That was meant to happen. That was meant to happen. So really, really nice rebuild to do. To see him back on that top step. I mean, with another Premier League in the cabinet, a few more FA Cups, you know. Sad I couldn't win the European trophy, but we're 10 years deep. We built one incredible team, I can tell you that. Budget-wise, you're good to go again. I mean, you got 170 million there. The debts and loans is a fair bit, but to be fair, if you're that fussed about it, you can just not sign anyone for another season. You've got more than enough options in this team. What a season for some of these players. I'm going to give player of the video to Diaz. I know he's now probably on his way out, but he has come in and been nothing but consistent. Never dropped below a 7 rating. The guy's been such a joy to work with. Sol, Savinio, Darvic, Krupi. I mean, the front line is such a good line. Yeah, a really, really good rebuild, in my opinion. Had a load of fun doing it. Again, you want to get the rebuild file and also the tactic, you can go and check out the Patreon, where you get over 13 perks as well. You also get to watch all of these ad-free, and you get priority in the next video that comes up. So make sure you are going on over and checking it out. Because, yeah, this was a nice video, you can probably tell. But a bit of an emotional outro, but I'll catch you in the next one. Hopefully you've enjoyed.